This documentary explores the real lessons of leadership, lessons learned not from victory, but from mistakes, miscalculations, and the emotional pressures of holding power. In a world where leaders rise quickly and fall even faster, this film breaks down the 10 essential principles every nation, every system, and every future leader must understand. Without naming individuals or targeting personalities, the documentary focuses on universal patterns, strategic failures, emotional decision-making, communication breakdowns, weak institutions, and the high cost of poor governance. Delivered in a calm and powerful female voiceover, this documentary serves as a guide for policymakers, students of political science, future leaders, analysts, and citizens seeking to understand how leadership shapes national destiny. These lessons are not about blame. They are about progress. They are about reflection. And they are about ensuring that the mistakes of the past do not repeat in our future. Our world often remembers leaders not by their victories but by their decisions, especially the ones that went wrong. Powerful positions come with expectations, pressure, and the constant eyes of the public. And in that pressure, even the most sincere leaders can make mistakes that later become lessons for generations to come. This documentary is not about pointing fingers. It is about understanding. It is about learning. And it is about acknowledging the patterns that repeat across political history, patterns we must finally break. Today, we explore the lessons every nation, every system, and every future leader must remember. Leadership begins with dreams, big dreams. Dreams to change a broken system, dreams to fight corruption, dreams to lift the weak, dreams to bring dignity, justice, and fairness. But dreams alone are not enough. A dream without a plan is only a wish. A dream without strategy becomes chaos, and a dream without humility becomes a burden. Many leaders rise with the hope to transform societies. They speak with passion, they challenge the status quo. They promise a new beginning, but when passion meets reality, something strange often happens. Pressure increases, opposition grows, expectations multiply, and suddenly emotion starts replacing strategy. Reactions replace planning, and confidence slowly turns into overconfidence. This is the first lesson. Lesson 1. Emotional leadership must be balanced with strategic thinking. Emotions make leaders human, but strategy makes leaders successful. A leader must feel deeply, but think even deeper. They must speak passionately, but act intelligently. They must believe strongly, but prepare realistically. The journey of leadership demands a calm mind in turbulent waters. Without it, even good intentions can create painful outcomes. Lesson 2. Institutions must be strengthened, not bypassed. A nation cannot be run by one person, no matter how honest or determined. Institutions exist to provide support, expertise, continuity, and balance. When leaders try to do everything alone, when they place loyalty above competence, when they ignore experts and underestimate systems, they weaken the very foundations they once promised to strengthen. True reform does not come from slogans. It comes from building strong, stable institutions that outlive every leader. Lesson 3. Confrontation is not a long-term political strategy. Some leaders rise by challenging everyone who disagrees with them. They paint every opponent as an enemy. They divide the nation into us versus them. And for a while, this strategy works. People love the energy. People cheer the courage. People feel the excitement of conflict. But conflict has a cost. It exhausts societies, it breaks communication, it isolates leaders, and eventually, confrontation replaces collaboration. Great leaders understand that progress is never built on anger. It is built on negotiation, dialogue, and compromise. Lesson 4. Communication must be responsible, precise, and consistent. In today's world, every word becomes a headline. Every speech becomes evidence. Every statement can shift markets, policies, public emotions, and national stability. When communication is impulsive, when facts are not verified, when messaging changes every day, trust begins to crack. A successful leader must speak with clarity. Their tone must be controlled. Their statements must be intentional. Their communication must build unity, not confusion. Words are powerful, and a leader's words shape the destiny of millions. Lesson 5. Economic stability requires predictable and disciplined policies. A nation's economy is like a heartbeat, steady, rhythmic, predictable. But when policies shift too quickly, when decisions are made without preparation, when promises are unrealistic, when numbers don't add up, trust collapses. Investors step back, businesses hesitate, and the burden falls hardest on ordinary citizens. Economic decisions require discipline. They require consistency. They require experts who think beyond politics and focus on long-term national benefit. A leader must remember, popularity may win applause, but only performance wins progress. Lesson 6. Advisors determine the destiny of a leader. Leadership is not a solo journey. Behind every leader is a team. But sometimes leaders surround themselves with the wrong people. People who flatter instead of advise, people who protect their own interests, people who hide the truth, people who amplify emotional decisions. Poor advice leads to poor outcomes, and poor outcomes create national consequences. A leader must choose advisors not for loyalty, but for competence, not for praise, but for honesty, not for comfort, but for truth. Lesson 7. Crisis management requires preparation, not reaction. Crisis reveals everything: the strength of institutions, the clarity of decisions, the depth of planning, and the wisdom of leadership. In times of crisis, delays become disasters. Confusion becomes chaos. A lack of planning becomes national suffering. Great leaders prepare before emergencies happen. They create systems. They empower experts. They gather data. They act quickly, calmly, and intelligently. A crisis is not the time to learn. It is the time to lead. Lesson 8. Popularity cannot replace performance. Crowds can love a leader. They can chant. They can march. They can defend. But popularity is temporary. It rises with emotion. It falls with results. Real leadership is not measured in applause. It is measured in delivery, in reforms that work, in systems that last, in policies that uplift people. A leader should never confuse admiration with achievement. Lesson 9. Power must be exercised with foresight and responsibility. Every decision has consequences. Some consequences arrive quietly, some arrive suddenly, but they always arrive. Leaders must always ask, what will this decision create tomorrow? Will it bring stability or chaos? Will it unite or divide? Will it solve a problem or create 10 new ones? Power is not a trophy, it is a responsibility to protect, to uplift, and to serve. Lesson 10. Growth is the most important part of leadership. Every leader makes mistakes, every leader miscalculates, every leader faces regret. But the greatest leaders are those who evolve. Leadership is not a destination, it is a journey of constant self-reflection. A true leader asks, what did I learn? What will I improve? What will I change? How can I grow stronger, wiser, and more compassionate? Growth is the bridge between failure and success. Leadership is a test, not of perfection, but of humanity. It is a journey where mistakes are teachers, failures become guides, and reflection becomes transformation. The lessons of the past belong to everyone. They are warnings. They are reminders. They are invitations to build a future where leaders rise with wisdom, not just emotion, with planning, not just promises, with unity, not just confrontation, and with responsibility, not just ambition. A better future begins when leaders learn, and a nation rises when those lessons are remembered. Thank you for watching this documentary and for giving your time to understand the deeper lessons that shape our world. If this documentary made you think, reflect, or see leadership from a new perspective, then I invite you to stay connected with us. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice, your engagement, and your curiosity help us continue creating meaningful, research-driven stories that go beyond headlines and dive into the truth. Together, we can build a community that values wisdom, awareness, and accountability. Thank you once again, and we'll see you in the next documentary.